Welcome to Movies. Today we are talking about the history of special effects in film, detailing their evolution from early practical techniques like stop motion and miniatures to the advanced computer-generated imagery used in modern blockbusters.
Ever wonder how filmmakers bring those crazy creatures and those impossible worlds to life on the big screen?
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
So today we're taking a deep dive into the history of special effects, from the early days of cinema to, the stuff we're watching now.
The evolution of movie magic, it's pretty wild.
We've got a stack of Wikipedia entries about some real game-changer films. We're talking King Kong, 2001, A Space Odyssey, Jurassic Park.
Don't forget Terminator 2, The Matrix.
Oh, and Avatar, of course. Plus, we'll be dropping some knowledge about a true pioneer in the field, Ray Harryhausen.
And it's not just about the tech, right? It's about how these films changed the game, what made them stick with us.
Exactly. Why are we still talking about a giant ape from 1933?
Because King Kong was groundbreaking.
Right. Black and white. And yet, that giant ape still freaks people out.
That's the magic of it. Even back then, filmmakers were finding such clever ways to blend fantasy and reality.
And King Kong was all about stop-motion animation.
Which, for its time, was revolutionary.
I mean, we're talking old-school claymation here.
Oh, got it. But picture this. They'd painstakingly move a puppet a tiny bit, snap a picture, move it again, another picture, thousands of frames just for a few minutes of film.
Wow. That's dedication.
It was an art form. The lead animator on King Kong, Willis O'Brien, and his team, they were magicians. And they even invented new techniques along the way.
Like what?
Well, there was the Dunning process, which used a projection system to blend those stop-motion elements with the live-action footage.
So they're inserting the animation into the real world.
Exactly. And the Williams process used these really detailed glass miniatures to make the interactions with the background even more realistic.
So it wasn't just about animating, it was about making those animations fit seamlessly into a real environment.
And that's what made Kong seem so real, like he was actually rampaging through New York City.
It set a new standard, for sure.
Totally. Audiences had never seen anything like it.
And this whole idea of pushing the boundaries, that's where Ray Harryhausen comes in.
Oh, absolutely. This guy, he learned from the best, took what O'Brien did, and ran with it.
Took stop motion to a whole new level, I've heard.
That's an understatement.
Right.
Harryhausen, he gave us dynamation.
Dynamation sounds intense.
It was. It allowed for these incredibly complex and dynamic interactions between his stop-motion creatures and the real-life actors. You see, before dynamation, those creatures often felt, separate.
Like they were just kind of there.
Exactly. But Harryhausen, he changed all that.
So how did this dynamation thing actually work?
It was all about this technique called split-screen rear projection.
Yeah.
Basically, he could combine the stop motion with live action in a way that made them look like they were part of the same world, breathing the same air.
Okay, now you're talking my language. Got any examples?
Are you kidding? Think about the skeleton fight in Jason and the Argonauts, or how about that Kraken attacking the ship in Clash of the Titans?
Oh man, those are classic.
Pure dynamation magic.
He made those mythological creatures come alive, and we totally bought it.
That's the power of Harryhausen, right?
Yeah.
And his influence. It's everywhere.
Oh, I bet.
Seriously, from Star Wars to Jurassic Park.
Oh, speaking of Jurassic Parks.
Talk about a game changer.
From puppets to digital dinosaurs. What a leap.
A giant leap, for sure.
But hold on, before we get to those digital dinos, we got to rewind a bit.
Back to Mari.
1968, Stanley Kubrick. 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Ah, a masterpiece.
If King Kong was about blending the real and unreal, 2001 was all about creating a future that felt, believable.
And breathtaking.
Totally. The space travel, artificial gravity, those zero-G effects, all without computers.
2001 was pure practicality, my friend, and incredible attention to detail.
Remember that rotating set?
You mean for the artificial gravity on the Discovery?
Yes. It looks so real. I always wondered how they did that.
They built this massive rotating structure, like a giant wheel almost.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And they placed the camera strategically so it looked like the actors were walking along these curved walls.
That's incredible.
Talk about innovation.
And those zero-gravity scenes, those still hold up today, which is crazy considering how long ago that movie came out.
More than 50 years.
How'd they make it look like they were floating without using CGI?
A lot of it was wires.
Wire.
They'd suspend the actors from wires attached to the ceiling, then position the camera below so you couldn't see them.
Clip.
And they'd often slow down the footage to make that weightless feeling more convincing. Sounds simple, but it took amazing precision.
It really shows you what they could do even back then with those practical effects. A real vision for sure. But in 2001, it wasn't just like the sets and the zero-G stuff.
Right.
They were also doing some pretty cool stuff with front projection, right? Like for the background.
Oh, absolutely. Front projection, which is, basically projecting an image onto a screen behind the actors. Well, it'd been around, but Kubrick, he used it in these really innovative ways to create those like vast, incredible landscapes.
Ahead of their time.
For sure. It's part of what makes 2001 so visually stunning, even today.
It's a landmark film. It really pushed the boundaries of filmmaking.
No doubt.
But even Kubrick, he couldn't have seen the whole CGI revolution coming. Right.
And no film really embodies that shift quite like Jurassic Park.
Oh, man. Jurassic Park. Who didn't want a pet dinosaur after seeing that movie?
It's amazing.
It's interesting, though, Jurassic Park, it wasn't all CGI spectacle.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they used those incredible animatronic dinosaurs, too.
Oh, right.
Built by Stan Winston, the legend.
I remember those documentaries showing how they made those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was an art form.
Totally.
But where Jurassic Park really changed things was how Spielberg, how he combined those animatronics with CGI to make the dinosaurs really move.
Yeah.
You know, like actually run and chase people.
Exactly. Think about that T-Rex chase.
Yeah.
How it breaks free, the power, the fluidity of it.
So good.
Groundbreaking.
It wasn't just seeing dinosaurs. It was like believing they were right there.
Exactly. And that's the genius of Spielberg. It wasn't just, showing off the tech. It was a story.
Right.
He used those effects to make something suspenseful, awe-inspiring even.
It hooked everyone.
Totally. And then every studio wanted to do it. CGI was the new thing.
It started a revolution.
It did. Though it did spark some debate, about using too much CGI.
Makes sense.
But then you have a film like Terminator 2, which really shows how CGI can be used to build a character.
Oh, the T-1000. Liquid metal.
Right.
Still amazing.
How did they do that back then?
I know, right? Like 1991?
Cutting edge stuff. ILM, those guys, they were pushing the limits of computer graphics to create that morphing, shape-shifting.
And it worked.
Sliding through metal bars, reforming bullet wounds, even turning its arm into a blade.
So creepy.
I know, but that's what made the T-1000 so memorable. It wasn't just about the effects. It was that they were part of what the character was,
It made it terrifying.
Unstoppable. Terminator 2 proved that CGI could be more than just creatures. It could create really compelling characters.
And then a few years later, boom.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet time.
Mind-blowing.
Right.
Neo-dodging those bullets.
It redefined action movies.
Yeah.
And like reality itself.
Totally. That scene where Neo's dodging bullets, it's like you're seeing time slow down from every angle.
Like a comic book. How'd they even do that?
It was a combo of things. They used a bunch of still cameras all around the scene.
Okay.
Triggered in a sequence to create that slow motion effect.
Wow.
And then they used CG to blend it all together, those different viewpoints.
So again, it's like mixing the real and the
virtual.
Yeah, the virtual to get something totally new.
It's a common thread, I think. With all these effects, it's not about just one thing. It's about pushing the boundaries.
Finding new ways to blend all those techniques.
Exactly.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about Avatar. Pandora. Blue people. It was like nothing we had ever seen before.
I mean, before Avatar, performance capture was mostly used to make CGI characters move realistically, but James Cameron, he took it to a whole other level.
This wasn't just like a couple CGI characters hanging out in a real world. This was a whole alien world.
And it was believable.
Totally. The detail, the realism is incredible.
It changed everything. Avatar used performance capture to capture everything. Not just how the actors moved, but like their tiny facial expressions, even their emotions.
You could see it in their eyes.
They could act through the CGI. It blurred the lines between real and virtual like nothing before it.
And it wasn't just about the tech, right? It was the artistry.
Exactly.
The way those actors embodied the characters, the way the animators brought those performances to life in the computer. It was art and technology working together.
Perfectly said. And, you can't forget the impact it had.
Oh, yeah.
Avatar showed everyone what performance capture could do as a storytelling tool, and suddenly every big-budget movie wanted to be just as immersive and emotional.
And here we are. We've gone from stop-motion puppets to photorealistic alien worlds, from painstaking frame-by-frame animation to the mind-blowing power of CGI. What a ride.
And it's not over yet.
What do you mean?
This is just the beginning. The future of special effects is whatever we can imagine. We've got virtual production now. Filmmakers can create and play with digital environments in real time. And AI. AI is changing how movies are made. It's a really exciting time to love movies.
It really is. As technology gets better and better, that line between fantasy and reality, it's just going to get blurrier and blurrier.
You got it.
Who knows what kind of movie magic is next?
It's going to be spectacular.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into the amazing world of special effects, I have one question for you. What will be the next King Kong, the next Jurassic Park? What new tech will blow our minds? And how will it change filmmaking forever? Think about it. The future of movie magic is in your hands.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Welcome to Science. Welcome To is dedicated to exploring new technology to create informative and entertaining media. If you would like to create a podcast like this, be sure to visit Google Notebook LM. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe for more. Leave a comment if you have an idea for an episode that we should start researching. Thank you for listening.